For whole group Zoom meeting today, in case you didn't get a chance to join us, we met a new dinosaur friend. His name is Blurtosaurus. Blurtosaurus. Let's see what lesson he learned today. Blurtosaurus loves school. He loves answering questions, figuring out problems, and talking to his friends. He says, me, I've got it. Hey, guys. Sometimes he answers questions before his teacher is even finished asking them. I know, he says. Teacher Rex reminds Blurtosaurus to wait until she calls on him to answer. But Teacher Rex says, today we're going to learn about I love volcanoes. But it's hard to wait sometimes. And Blurtosaurus says, I like volcanoes. Blurtosaurus went to go see Councilosaurus. I understand that you love to participate. I love that you're so excited about school, Councilosaurus said. To make sure that everyone feels respected, it's important that we don't blurt while others are speaking, Councilosaurus explained. How can I do that? Asked Blurtosaurus. He's thinking. We can do our very best to wait until our teacher or friends have finished speaking to say what we want to say, Councilosaurus explained. I just get so excited. I want to say it right away, Blurtosaurus replied. Yes, it is wonderful to be excited about school. Let's talk about 3 things you can do to help yourself wait to speak instead of blurting out, Councilosaurus said. First, if you feel the urge to blurt, immediately raise your hand. Just let it shoot up in the air and stand proudly to let your teacher know that you want to speak. So the first thing you do is raise your hand. Blurtosaurus thought he could do that. Councilosaurus explained that Blurtosaurus could also practice counting. When you feel like you want to blurt, count to 10 in your mind, and when you get to 10, see if your teacher or your friend is still talking before you speak. So while you're raising your hand and waiting, you can count to 10 in your head. That didn't sound so hard. He knows how to count to 10. To help him wait and be patient. One more strategy you could use is you could write down what you want to say and save it for when it's your time to talk, Councilosaurus explained. So raise your hand, count to 10, or draw it so you don't forget. Blurtosaurus thought that was a great way to save all of his thoughts for the perfect time. Maybe he could have a little notebook where he could draw or write down his ideas. I love that you are so excited to share your thoughts at school. I know that if you practice raising your hand, counting before you speak, and writing down your thoughts, you will be sharing all of your ideas at the perfect times. Councilsaurus explained. Blurtosaurus went back to class with confidence. He's going to try his new strategies. Teacher Rex was reading a passage about Blurtosaurus' favorite subject, volcanoes. As Teacher Rex was reading, Blurtosaurus wanted to tell her about the volcano he saw last weekend. Teacher Rex says, and 3 days later, the volcano. Blurtosaurus began. Oops, I should raise my hand first, he thought. Erupted, said Teacher Rex. Teacher Rex finished reading the passage and then called on Blurtosaurus. I wanted to tell you that I saw a volcano erupting last weekend. It was magnificent, Blurtosaurus said. Blurtosaurus was so excited, he raised his hand and he still got to share. Later that day, Blurtosaurus was talking to Pterodactyl about skateboards, and he really wanted to talk about his own skateboard, but Pterodactyl was still talking. Blurtosaurus counted to 10 inside his mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pterodactyl was finished speaking. So Blurtosaurus shared, I'm happy for you that you got a skateboard. Maybe we can ride together sometime. Counting had worked. Blurtosaurus didn't blurt with his friend. He waited his turn, waited patiently. During math, Blurtosaurus really wanted to tell Teacher Rex about a fun math game that he played with his sister over the weekend. But the timing wasn't right. Blurtosaurus decided to write down his thoughts to share with Teacher Rex later, when it was the perfect time. Blurtosaurus was so proud of himself, he used all the strategies he learned with Councilsaurus, and he showed others respect while waiting to speak until it was his turn. Good job, Blurtosaurus. You learned to raise your hand and wait to speak. While you're waiting your turn, if you're having a hard time being patient, you can count to 10 in your head. Also, if you're close to a piece of paper, you could draw or write down your idea so that you don't forget when it is your turn to speak. Good job, Blurtosaurus.